Tasha here for Cat Scrappiness, and today we're going to create a fun Thanksgiving card using a stamped background design. The stamps that I'm using is the Quaka Thanksgiving costume add-on stamps, and I'll be using the accessories. The second item is the 5x7 stitched rectangle dies. I'll use two of the dies included in this set, one to cut out a gold layer, which I did ahead of time, and then a smaller one to cut out a white cardstock layer to go in the center, and that's the card we'll use to create our background. I'll also be using the Thanks Sentiment Shadow die and Jasper Stone dual color pearls. To begin our project, we're going to cut the thanks and the shadow. I pre-cut the shadow using the same yellow cardstock I used in the layer. But for the thanks die, since this is a word with a lot of letters that are smaller, I decided to create a sticker. So I layered on some Stick It behind a piece of white cardstock, and then I just ran it through my die cutter. I used my little poker tool to just poke at the little holes, and the die, the word cut die came out perfectly. Next, we're going to create our background. This is the best part because I love stamping these images. They're so fun for fall, and I put one image on each side of my stamp block. So I'm using two stamp blocks and just an image on each side. And I'm just going to start with the pumpkins. So I'm going in with just a black hybrid ink. Since I'm going to be using Copic markers for my coloring, I wanted to make sure I used a black ink that wouldn't smear. Next, I'm going in and just filling in those open areas, kind of switching between those accessory stamps. I used both pumpkins, the little acorns, and the leaves. And once I was all done, I just put the stamping blocks aside and then started coloring. This is just some basic coloring. I'm just starting out with making some orange pumpkins with those bigger pumpkin images. And then I'm going to go in and make those other pumpkins kind of a cream color. So these are just real simple coloring. I'm not doing any sort of complicated ink blending or multiple colors on these pumpkins, just a couple shading. I did go back in and add a little bit more darker color on the sides just to give it a little more dimension, but it's really simple coloring and you can color it any way you want to. Then I went in and colored the acorns and then the leaves, but there was still some open area. So I just took those same colors I used and just made some little dots to fill in those white spaces. And I used all the different colors, so it kind of gave another cool design in the background. And here's just a close-up view. I wanted some sparkles, so I decided to go in with some glitter paper. This is a really pretty kind of a orange bronzy color paper, and it looks great on this fall-themed card. So I'm going in and just adhering the stamp design right onto the glitter paper. And then I took it over to my trimmer and just trimmed it down to size. I found it easier than trying to layer it by pre-cutting. So I just attached it and then trimmed it down. I think this is easier for me. It works great if you're not the best at layering. So once I was done with that, I just made a simple card base out of brown cardstock. And this measures 4x6. So it's really a pretty simple size card. A card base, and I like that it's brown. Since usually you have maybe a white or a lighter color card base, I decided to go with a brown card base for this one. Now I'm just going in with some glue runner. I'm just going to attach my bottom base layer. I love that it has that cool stitched border. It gives it a lot of detail, even though it's just one piece of paper cut. You have that stitch design that frames the whole card. Then I'm just attaching my center card with that gold or that glitter paper, and it just sparkles and it's just so pretty with those orange colors. And for my sentiment, I went ahead and layered that sticker onto the shadow, and I'm using foam tape to attach it to the card base. If you've seen some of my videos, I do like to have foam tape on a lot of my sentiments that are die cut, and I think it just looks great because it kind of pops it up and it has that background behind it. And I just have to kind of position it just to make sure I have it in the center. But it looks great too with that yellow, and then you have that yellow in the background. Everything kind of coordinates. Lastly, I'm going in with some Jasper Stone dual color pearls. Cat Scrappiness has awesome selection of these little pearls and rhinestones and sequins, but these dual color ones are my favorite. So I just attached those to finish up the design. I hope you guys love this project and are inspired to create a Thanksgiving card. I'll have all of the items linked below. Have a great day and happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.